Hi, it's Tricia Johnston, residential realtor with Ladder and Bloom with your real estate tip of the week. Last time I discussed a couple of options for getting started in real estate investing. Today, I'll share 5 of the many ways that you can use to come up with a down payment or the full purchase price. First, you can get a home equity line of credit on your current home. You'll need to have equity in that house, and you shouldn't be considering selling in the next year or so. Second, if you already own some other investment property, you may be able to use that as collateral. Third, if you have a LLC set up for your investment business, you may be able to get a business line of credit. Fourth, you could borrow against a Roth IRA. And fifth, you may want to ask somebody to be a real estate investing partner with you, and you can combine your funds. There are so many options for getting started building your real estate investment business. You can chat with your CPA, a financial planner, and an experienced realtor to find out which option is best for you. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to call. I'm Tricia Johnston with Ladder and Bloom, and I'll be back here next week with another real estate tip for you.
It's Mardi Gras season, and Premier Credit is ready to throw you some cash. Any loan, any reason, and fast. For more information, call 225-667-8100 or apply online at premiercredit.com. Premier Credit, a proud sponsor of Local Leaders, the podcast. All right, it's season 4, episode 11 of Local Leaders, the podcast, and I'm excited to have these folks sitting in front of me right now. This is Maurice Scooter Keene and Miss Kay Keene of the Quick and Handy Cleaners. If you've been around Livingston Parish for a little while, you definitely know who these two folks are. In addition to that, Scooter, you are on the Livingston Parish Council as well, so you have a lot going on there, and I want to get into all that, but my goal for today is to let people know who you are outside of just cleaning their clothes and all those sorts of things, because y'all are some interesting people. I've been in your cleaners several times and love just sitting there and talking and catching up and all those sorts of things. Been a long time customer myself, so look forward to talking all that with you, and I want to welcome both of you to Local Leaders, the podcast.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Now, Miss Kay, 35 years you have been married to this man right here, so I want to commend you for that. Very good.
Thank you.
She always gets that. I don't understand.
I never get a word in, but I'm used to it.
You're used to it. That's right. So along the way, you've had some kids, you've had some grandkids, and so let's talk a little bit about your family.
Okay. We have 3 kids.
Yeah.
Olivia, she's been married and just has our brand new grandbaby, little boy named George.
Aww.
And then we have our middle son, Reese, who his wife is Catherine, and they live in Baton Rouge, and they just had a new little baby, Addie, little baby girl.
Aww.
That's our first 2 grandchildren this year, 2020.
Yeah.
And then we have Patrick, who works for us in the afternoons, and he is going to Southeastern.
Yeah.
So,
And she left out my son-in-law, Bo.
Oh, yeah, my son-in-law, Bo.
Who's married to Olivia, and he's a brain trust in that part of the family. So.
Yeah, there you go. Shout out.
They're both great people, but they're brilliant. So.
Shout out to Bo.
Yeah. Shout out to Bo, since I didn't, huh?
Very good. And I'll tell you, I've met I guess it's your youngest son, the one that works
Patrick,
at Quick.
Yes, sir.
What a mannerly young man.
Well, thank you.
I don't know where that came from.
I don't know.
I tried to ruin him. It didn't work.
A very well-spoken young man,
Yeah.
too, which really impressed me. And as a matter of fact, I messaged Scooter and I said, man, you just mannerly young man you've raised there.
Thank you. He's an Eagle Scout, so he's
really?
We've had lots of help.
Training.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the scout troop really brought him around. He was a real loner. Didn't want to do a whole lot.
Yeah.
and didn't want to be in the Scouts.
Yeah.
And they said, no, you're staying. And then he
Just
fought
took
his
to
way
it,
through
huh?
and became the leader of the troop, and stepped up and made his Eagle Scout.
Well, and that's a major accomplishment.
It is.
Because that's a commitment. I mean, as y'all know from raising an Eagle Scout, it really teaches you early in life about starting something and seeing it to completion, right?
Yes, sir. That's
So
right.
that's fantastic, and it definitely shows. He's well spoken. I'm thinking he's a politician in the making right there.
God.
I don't know.
We don't do politicians.
Yeah, no. He's a fantastic young man. So kudos for that. Scooter and Miss Kay, y'all have been operating Quick and Handy Cleaners for a while now, huh?
Oh, Lord, yes.
Long time. But what some folks may be surprised to know about y'all is that you're actually a second generation business, right?
That's correct.
So tell me about that.
Well, my parents bought Quick and Handy probably in 1973, and we moved to Holden from Baton Rouge.
Holden.
And, I already had some kin folks that lived out there, so my grandparents were there, so Mom wanted to be closer to them.
Yeah.
And so my stepdad, Gordon Thompson, is who raised me. My dad died when I was like 3 years old.
Okay.
And so Gordon raised me.
Yeah.
The most fantastic stepfather you could have ever asked for.
Awesome.
I wasn't a stepkid.
Right.
I was his kid.
Yeah.
And he was a school teacher in East Baton Rouge, and they thought that they would be okay living in Holden. Mama was just going to be a housewife type,
Yeah.
That didn't last 6 months, and she's like, "Oh no, I got to go back into dry cleaning," because she had been in dry cleaning her whole life since she was 13
Wow.
in Baton Rouge at Dutch Cleaners.
Yeah. I remember Dutch Cleaners.
And she sold it to a man that had worked for him since he was like 13 years old, Bobby Williams. And so
Wow.
we moved to Holden.
Yeah.
Well, she goes and she talks to Mr. Gully and Mrs. Gully. They had this little small cleaners
Denham Springs.
in Denham Springs, and she set up a deal and bought it,
Yeah.
and immediately went to work. I think they were doing $750 in sales a week, and in the next month they were doing $2,000 a week.
Come on. That's a percentage jump there.
But her customers from Baton Rouge said, "Juanita's back in business. We have got to go to Quick and Handy out in Denham."
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So
And,
you got it in the blood, basically.
Oh yeah, I was raised in a buggy, in the back,
Yeah.
and she would drag me around as soon as I was born.
Amazing.
And so it was great. And then, I graduated from Walker High in '83, started Southeastern, and I'd been going up on the weekends and in the evenings and helping and doing things. But I played football and baseball, so that took out 2/3 of the year. I couldn't go work in the afternoons like Patrick and my other kids did. And one day I'm at Southeastern. Of course, we didn't have cell phones yet back then in '83.
Yeah.
I get home and the phone rings, and it's Mama. I said, "What?" She said, "I just fired every employee. You start tomorrow at 5 a.m. Your college is over."
There you go.
And so I got a trial by fire.
Yeah.
And it was the greatest thing. She taught me every aspect. I started out pressing blue jeans and khaki pants, okay?
Yeah.
And then I moved to washing things and dry cleaning things. And she was made sure everything was absolutely perfect, And then
Wow.
we got busy. And I'd been dating Kay the whole time,
Yeah.
And
Now, how did y'all meet?
we met. She actually, they had a place called Rabbits in Holden. It was a little restaurant.
Yeah.
And I was sitting in there one day, and a friend of mine, Dwayne Harmon, best friend I ever had in my life, he saved my life many a nights. Okay?
Yeah.
He come walking in. I said, "Oh, hey, Dwayne," and the most beautiful person I'd ever laid eyes on, this lady,
Yeah.
was with
Aw.
my best friend who lived at my house.
Oh.
And I said, "Oh, who is that?" "Oh, she's new. She's from Chalmette." I said, "Well, that and mine." And she was. I had to break it to old Dwayne and said, "Dwayne, buddy, I hate to tell you." And I chased
wasn't a
her.
problem, believe
And I
me.
chased her and I chased her. And I finally caught her.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's been like that ever since. I mean, we started dating when she was 13 years old.
Wow. Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Long
Yeah.
time.
Long, beautiful black hair. And I was like, "Oh, my, look at this."
Yeah.
And she's still like that today.
Indeed.
I wouldn't know how to react any other way without my wife.
Yeah.
I couldn't get by in life.
Well, that's awesome. So you're watching, this guy, this cleaning, clothes cleaning savant over here, practically, and as he's going through life, and he probably called you and said, "Oh yeah, I'm leaving college. I got to go help Mama."
Yeah, pretty much.
She was working at Lerner's in Hammond.
Yeah, the little store in the mall.
In the mall.
Yeah.
And it wasn't too long after we got married, Mom goes, "We need help. You need to get Kay in here."
Yeah.
So in she came. She taught her everything too, book-wise, everything. And then in 95, they said, "We don't need to be here anymore. Y'all want to buy it?" Yeah, we want to buy it.
Yeah.
So we bought it, and how was that, 26 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while.
And been through many, many different changes. Moved from Centerville Street from a ratty, leaking old building that Katrina just did a number on. Thank God we were already in the process of building our new one. It was so bad we had to press holding umbrellas over our heads when it was raining.
Wow.
And we got out of that to what you see on Railroad Avenue.
Beautiful store.
I said, "Baby, we're just going to build a metal building and put a brick front on it." She goes, "No, you certainly are not. This is our city.
Yeah.
We want to make it better." It was the old 4-star ham building was where we are.
Yeah.
And we bought it, tore it down, and that was her vision, what you see, that big red brick building to match downtown Denham Springs.
It really does too, and it's actually, in my opinion, a breathtaking building. It has a lot of nostalgia to it, but it's very it's hard to describe. It's very nostalgic, but at the same time, it's just absolutely beautiful, as if you've stepped back in time almost. The way it's shaped is what I love about it most. We had that conversation, and probably the most beautiful building, in my opinion, in Denham Springs of this time period, really.
Right.
Just so shout out to
Thank
you,
you.
Miss Kay. You did a great job.
She wouldn't have it any other way. She goes, "It doesn't matter what it cost us. We owe this to Denham Springs."
Yeah.
And I've done some
That's awesome.
interviews before and explained to people that everything we've ever had,
Yeah.
homes, cars, clothes, were from the people of Livingston Parish.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for those people frequenting my business, our business, we wouldn't have anything.
Yeah.
You know? And they'll go, "Oh, you'd have been working somewhere else, and you'd have been," but we deal with people on their worst days, on their best days. When people come in and say, "I lost a loved one. Can you get their clothes ready? We need to take them to the funeral home." We do that. And then they'll come in when their kids are getting married and proms.
Yeah.
And so we get to see every aspect of everybody's lives.
Yes, you really do, and that's an amazing way of looking at it too. And I'm going to get a little more in depth into that. One of the questions I asked you in that little pre-questionnaire was in regard to positive influences in your lives in general. Now, both of you said your families. Family support is obviously really important in life. You know, regardless of the path, whether you're working for somebody else, you're starting your own business, you always want the support of your family. But how instrumental was your family's support, especially early on when you were running a business? One thing I noticed, and I want to mention this, is when I got married, had kids, my mother-in-law pretty much raised our kids. We were working parents, and of course we were there every night and every morning.
Right.
But we would bring them to Mama's house, and we'd go to work and pick them up on the way home. And my wife told me one time, she said, "This is just what people around here do," you know, and what a blessing it was when I was building a business to have that support. Y'all had support similar?
Oh,
Well,
my gosh, yes.
because we worked. So basically, we worked for his parents for 10 years, and then they worked with us for 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we were all, for 20 years, we were all there together. You know.
Wow.
Usually
And
10,
so-
12 hours a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was funny because my mother-in-law would, we were busy and we'd all be working, and this is when we were young, and so we had Olivia, our oldest, and my father-in-law would say, "Is it time for us to get I got to go get. That meant go
Yeah.
pick her up.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
as soon as she would walk in the cleaners, his mother would just light up, and she would just put everything down and not stress out about anything. And
Yeah.
so he was always, is it time to go get? Is it time to go get?
Yeah, because as it was nearing the end of the day, and we had been rolling all day long,
Oh,
we
yeah.
were all frustrated. It's
stressed
hot, and
Yeah.
so you get the baby girl, and
Boy,
Yeah.
that was
everything
it.
goes better.
Fantastic. So huge support.
Her
Yeah.
parents also, though.
And then-
Her mom, by then, when they moved to Holden, didn't work anymore.
Yeah.
And she would actually come help us at the cleaners sometimes.
one
Some
day a
days
week.
every week.
Yeah.
Because we would need the help.
Sure.
And but when she wasn't at the cleaners, we lived on in the Willows on Willowbrook,
Yeah.
and they would pick the babies up. And
Well,
what
with
do you
all the
need?
holidays, when the daycares were closed,
Right, yeah.
or she
you
was there
couldn't
to-
even measure how much of a big deal that was, because we couldn't take off.
Yeah.
There was just no way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, if you wouldn't have had that support, what would you have done?
Things would have been totally different if she had to be out of the business and not helping me and my parents.
Yeah.
Because we worked like this all day.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
So it really is. You have to be so much gratitude for what you have and that your parents.
Absolutely.
And now as we're grandparents, we're still working in our business, and so my daughter and her husband are both attorneys.
Sure.
So okay, what are they going to do? And
Right.
they live in Metairie. So it's like how can we help them?
Yes.
Like our parents helped us.
Yes. Yeah, I get it 100%.
Yeah.
And wow, what a blessing family is.
absolutely.
Tiffany Seacard with Home Key Mortgage combines the experience and knowledge you need to make your mortgage loan a smooth, stress-free process. Reach out to Tiffany for more information on the vast mortgage programs available in the Livingston Parish area. Tiffany Seacard of Home Key Mortgage, a proud sponsor of Local Leaders, the podcast. Now, another thing that was on that questionnaire, and this really was a touching thing to me when I read this, and I'm like, man, I'm going to quote this word for word, is we asked about a motto, and in the response I got, and I thought this was very important to get perfect. So you basically said, always strive to do the best job with every piece of fabric that we get. Some people might look at a worn out shirt and think, that's just an old worn out shirt. But that may be the best shirt that they have to wear. So we treat each piece with care. That really says it all, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I had never really thought of it like that, but you're right. It might be a shirt that maybe some people may see and not think that's the best shirt in a wardrobe, but to somebody that might be their best. And to look at it like that is huge. Makes me proud to be a customer of yours, really.
We had some customers
wow.
for years that would bring in, I'm talking about 20 years, the same 3 or 4 pieces of clothing, but they wore it to church.
Yeah.
And they would bring them, and that's what they would wear every week.
Yeah.
And so every week we got the stains out, we got anything done, pressed them up perfect so they were ready to go, and we
Yeah.
have people like that now that may bring in one shirt.
Yeah.
That shirt may be the most important piece they have, that maybe they're going on an interview, maybe they're going to a job that the boss said, look, tomorrow you need to wear your best shirt because I'm sending you somewhere. Something like that.
Yeah.
So every piece is our most important piece.
Yeah. That's a great way to look at it, and speaks volumes for what y'all think about your business. I am the world's most forgetful person if I don't write something down, but I'll leave things in my pocket all the time. I cannot tell you how many times I've went to Quick and Handy, dry cleaned my clothes, and had a $20 bill in there. Not that I have $20 bills all the time, but I sound like a millionaire over here. But I will forget money in my pockets a lot, and if my wife doesn't get to it first, it gets to Quick and Handy cleaners, and
It's in an envelope.
It's always in an envelope.
That's right.
So which honesty I would imagine in your business is huge. It's an important thing.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that my girls, right now we're just 5 of us in the front, but Natalie and Bridget are there every day, and Patrick with us, and they've
really
just been working.
Only us and 3 people.
Yeah, they working
Wow.
working there with us, and
Yeah.
they're honest, good people, and they just they're giving us an opportunity to be here today. 'Cause they're
Yeah.
working,
And they were
today,
snowed
and
under, too,
They were
because-
snowed under, so.
They were busy.
And
But and then we have everybody in production too. So
yeah, and let's talk about that for a minute. So, employees play a big role in a business.
Can't do it without them.
Can't do it without them, and us as business owners get ourselves out there so much, and then you've got to make sure your employees are taking care of your customers.
Correct.
How important are employees to your
my
business?
gosh.
Absolutely important.
and talking about it's like as being the leaders, you have to be the one that sets the tone.
Yes.
And so our girls like on Wednesdays we go to mass, and so our girls they open for us on every Wednesday morning.
Yeah.
And so they're doing the inspection of the clothes, and till we get there.
Yeah.
And they inspect just the way we do.
I think they inspect harder than I do. Because Bridget will hand me something that I have inspected and go, look, there's a little tiny grease spot on that dress shirt right there, and I'm like, okay, I'll go get it out right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they know, and the way that they treat the customers, and they try to the way that that we would represent.
Well, we all
Yes.
know that without
I
our
know.
customers, we're not there.
Yeah.
Right.
There's no way. And like I said, Denham Springs, Livingston Parish has been so good to us our whole lives.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and and then we have our stations in Walker and Watson, so we have our ladies out there too, and
Yeah.
so our customers there don't see us
Right.
at all,
Ever.
you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
So but people have been doing business with us for so long. They'll see us in Walmart or in the store, in a restaurant.
Yeah.
They'll say, "Oh, we love Miss Kay over at Walker," or "We love Miss Eva at Watson."
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
They're an
it's good
extension of us.
Yes,
you got
that's right.
They're an
Yeah.
extension of me, and hopefully they carry themselves better than I do sometimes, because I'll get distraught about something, and they just take it, run with it, and say, "Well, he'll be okay in a little while." You know?
Well, I'll tell you from a customer standpoint, I will tell you that they are really great people to interact with my dry cleaning. I mean, I go in there and they always know my name. I feel like I'm in Cheers, and they'll small talk with me, and those things are important because you want to feel welcome. I don't know if y'all have ever been anywhere where you walk in and people almost seem aggravated to wait on
You're
you.
there, yeah.
Yeah, but it's somewhere I don't go back too often when that happens. But I'll tell you what, they're happy to see me when I walk in the cleaners.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, that's absolutely important, because I used to tell some of my employees, they said, "Why is such and such so grumpy every morning?"
Yeah,
I said, "I don't know. Maybe home life isn't great." I said, "But you can change it for them."
yeah,
"What do you mean?" "Good morning, Miss Smith. How you doing today?" "Oh, it ain't. Well, I think it's wonderful that you came by to see us. You know?
yeah.
It'll be okay."
Yeah,
Well, wait, what was I mad about? Wait,
yeah.
change somebody's day.
That's right.
It's easy. Give
Yeah.
a man a hug. And people are like, "You can't be hugging." Well, you can't now. Can't be hugging folks. But you can. The very simplest thing you can do to change somebody's day is say, "Good morning. How you doing today?" And if they're having a terrible day, they'll either tell you about it, or maybe they'll forget
Yes,
what
For a
that
moment,
one little
even.
thing was at home, that,
that's
and
right.
they won't take it out on somebody else later.
That's right. That's right. What a great way to look at that. Now, you have several locations. Let's talk about that a little bit on your location.
All right. We have a store in Walker that's been out there since 1984. Yeah.
Yeah. And where is that located?
It's in the Carter's Shopping Center.
Okay. Yeah.
And just 2 doors down from Carter's.
They're right next to Goodwill. Right there.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
And so we've been out there. Actually, our old location got bought out, and they built the CVS across the
they
street.
tore
So
it
we
down.
moved
We had
over
to move.
there.
Yeah.
So we've been out there a while, and we got 2 Sharons that work for us.
Yeah.
2
Sharon in
Sharons.
the morning and Sharon in the
evening.
evening.
Who waited on you, Sharon? Okay.
That'll get confusing.
Really nice ladies. And then we have in the Oak Point Shopping Center, we have our location in Watson.
Yeah.
And we have Miss Eva and Miss Diane out there. And,
Excellent.
So they've been working for us for a number of years. And
Yeah. Yeah. In your flagship location in Denham,
and then
right there.
downtown.
Railroad Avenue.
Yeah.
Yep.
How long? When did we open in Watson? When Patrick was born, so 20 years.
20 years.
20 years ago.
Yeah.
And we had bought old diesel service building. That is where Zaxby's is sitting right now.
Yes.
And I sold it to Walmart. I bought 2.5 acres.
Yeah.
And a year later, Walmart comes and goes, "You want to sell that?"
Come on.
Yeah.
Good call, Scooter. Good call.
But
So we moved out with the Rushings over at Oak Point Shopping Center, and they're just very, very good to us.
Fantastic.
yeah. But Watson has been a good location. Now, since COVID, it has gone down more than any location we have.
Yeah.
And I think it's just because of the fact that they have 23 to 26,000 people, and most of them are working from home now.
Yeah, and we're going to get into that because that's
a big
something
deal.
I hadn't considered.
Right.
But certainly COVID has played a part, and so I'm actually going to lead you into that now. And we talked about some of the challenges, or we sent you something and wanted to know what some of the challenges were that you've went through. And one of the things you listed was the 2008. The world changed, and so did our business. So
It did.
tell me about that.
Well, it's 2008, if y'all remember, immediately the gas prices went up.
Mm-hmm.
So dry cleaning is a petroleum product.
Yes.
So you make plastic bags with that,
Yes.
plastic hangers,
Yes.
solvent,
Dry clean-
spotters.
we use petroleum dry cleaning solvent.
Solvent especially
Yes.
is a huge
A
derivative of
lot of
gasoline.
places over time use perchloroethylene, and we have never used perchloroethylene. We could have saved, we'd have been multimillionaires by using perk,
Yeah.
but we just didn't think it was safe enough for us to. We weren't doing it.
Fantastic.
Much more expensive to use petroleum. You go through a lot more of it.
Yeah.
A lot of people in perk that use perk would use a 55-gallon drum a year.
Yeah.
We were using like 6,000 gallons of petroleum solvent a year.
Wow.
And just to make people understand, 'cause a lot of people don't understand what dry cleaning is.
Yes.
It's not actually dry cleaning. The dry part is no water.
Right.
So you put your clothes in this solvent instead of water. But it's just like a washing machine. You put it in there, it's submerged.
It
and
fills
you-
up with
you know.
solvent and washes it, changes directions, and you can speed it up or slow it down depending on how delicate the fabrics are that you're putting in it.
Yeah.
And,
And,
then
you're
you dry
right. I
them.
mean, the perception from people is you hang it up and it's almost like a
Yeah.
and
steam
steam it a little
clean.
bit.
Yeah.
No, it's totally immersed. Now I do hand clean things with steam.
Yes.
That have feather boas sewed all through them and different. I mean, we have all kinds of things over the time.
Hulk
that come
Hogan
through.
boas on
Yeah,
it.
Yep.
Real fur collars
Yeah.
on a dress or a jacket, and so you're like, well, I'm gonna clean it by hand instead of putting it in a machine where it could be damaged.
Sure.
But that was the start of the changing of the world for us.
Yeah, and here's something interesting with that. And in the paint business, it's very similar. We have a lot of petroleum-based products, and this is where price control kind of becomes an issue because sometimes you'll have to have an increase, for example, in your price and have no control over that.
Nope.
The price of gas rises and drops almost daily sometimes, and it's not only that, but it's also the availability of the raw material that you can get. The less available it is, the higher it's going to cost.
That's right.
What's that going to do to prices? Well, it'll make them rise, but it's not because Scooter or Jim or anybody else is making more money.
Right.
It's the market.
Yeah.
The market is rising.
And we can't.
Well, that's what happened with us in 2008 because the price of solvent had gone up, the price of everything we used went up.
Yeah.
So we had to raise our prices, and then at the same time, every
gas was $4 a gallon.
gas was
I remember
$4 a
that.
gallon.
So the
You remember
consumers get-
groceries
Yeah.
went up, and everything that So of course, dry cleaning is a luxury business.
Yeah.
For the most part.
I mean,
No doubt.
we never raise prices at Quick and Handy, so I make more money. Ever.
Right.
We've never given ourselves a raise because we raised the prices. It's always either cover employees' compensation or
The margins of the margins.
That's right.
insurance.
You know.
That's right.
And we've never done that. See, that's where we get in trouble. Because
Yeah.
I'll say, baby, you got to go up every year if it goes up. You can't, and she's like, oh, but the people, they count
it's-
on us, And I'm like, we won't be here for them if you don't.
Yeah, you definitely, there's a cost and there's a margin and there's a line there, and you can't really go below that line. If you go below that line, you could end up out of business. And,
Exactly.
And so that's the hardest thing to get people to understand is if you do if you do have a cost increase in any field, it doesn't necessarily mean anybody's making any more money.
Right. It's just to keep up.
Yeah.
Keep the status straight.
That's right.
But yeah, that in 08 was
That
a
was
big
the
deal.
first part,
And
yeah.
then from then on, we started having natural disasters, one after the other.
Well, there's one that we can remember in particular, and that was the 2016 flood.
That's correct.
So, your business I know of one that flooded for sure.
We didn't flood.
But
We,
it's
our South Range store
Yeah.
got 3 feet in it.
Yeah.
And when we drove up, Joe Mack calls me. He goes, "I've been hounding them." I said, "I got to get down there." We didn't even think about that store.
Yeah.
We were worried about Denham Springs and the people.
Right.
Wasn't worried about quick and
And if
handy.
you
Yeah.
remember, that was 2016. That was the first year he was a councilman.
Yes.
So I'm
Yes.
getting calls. We're going to set
So
up
it was-
shelters and
It's really
Yeah.
funny
Nightmare.
because you think about it as first you're as your own little nucleus, your little family. You take care of that. Then when that's
Yeah.
taken care of, which at that time our kids were grown, Patrick was still at home, but the rest of the other 2 were married. And then, then you, with our business, and you take care of that. But then
Yes.
once he became councilman, it was like, okay, well, this is our area. Like we
Yes.
have to protect,
Yes.
everybody, so that was putting another aspect into the 2016 flood completely.
So we finally get a call from Joe Mack. Joe goes, "You can get down there. You're going to have to go through water. We're going to let you go."
Yeah.
So we go down there, and I pull up, and no electricity. The lights are all out. And I open the door, and the first thing I see is a wedding dress hanging there, and it looked like it had been in chocolate milk from 3 feet to the floor. I'm like, oh, my God, it did flood. Because they had said it flooded, but we didn't know how much.
Oh, it was bad.
The counters were all upside down. The buggies of clothes were upside down. So we start just hauling stuff to the truck.
But not all of the other clothes in that store, we had higher
racks. So if they weren't long pieces, they didn't get water on them.
Really?
So
But
we
Well,
cleaned,
that's lucky.
we
But I
recleaned
recleaned every single piece anyhow because they had sat in there for 2 or 3 days,
Yeah.
with
with
water.
the water.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I said, we're not taking any risk of mold or anything growing later. That's the first stuff we did. We brought it to the cleaners. And it's a good thing we went that day and started working because we didn't flood in downtown Denham.
Didn't.
Even though the river crested 8 feet over the 83 flood, and my building is 1 foot above the 83 flood.
Yeah. How's that possible?
Have no idea. Thank you, Lord
The good
Jesus,
Lord.
because you are the only reason that Quick and Handy, he knew we had to be open.
Yeah.
And we did about 50,000 pieces of people's clothes in the next 5 to 6 weeks.
Yes.
That they were backing big trucks up, every piece they owned, soaking wet, and dumping them out in the front. I went up there, Kay goes, "This person's bringing their clothes and they're all wet." Well, I listened to the story, and we're all bawling in the front of the shop.
Yeah.
And I told her, I said, "Don't call me to the front again."
Yeah.
I said, "I can't do that. I'm going to go save these clothes."
Yeah.
And I did. We saved, we might have lost 10 pieces of clothes out of 50,000.
That's
oh my
amazing.
gosh, the
16 hours
stories and-
days and just 7 days a week we was rolling. I would get so tired I'd lay out in the middle of the floor because it was August. It was hot.
Yeah.
And my kids were there. They were helping us. Everybody in the world was coming to help Quick and Handy get these clothes saved,
Yeah.
But that was just our story. Like we didn't go through anything
No,
compared to
because
what
we
everybody
didn't
else
flood.
did.
So
Yeah.
my house and my business.
But that's okay because y'all were there for the people that did. And
Jim, we're swamped with these podcasts, and I'm in the mood for some local barbecue for lunch.
barbecue. Casey, the problem with barbecue is the speed. That would take forever.
Not at Buddy's Barbecue. With the drive-through line, they can get us fed fast, and that sauce, yum.
It is right in the heart of Denham Springs. Do they have specials?
Yes, they have plate lunch specials every day, Jim. And I bet you didn't know they offer some of the best catfish plates you've ever tasted on Fridays. And on Saturdays, they have smoked ribeyes. They are as flavorful as you can find anywhere.
Okay, I'm hungry. What's the number? I'll call it in.
No, just go online and place your order. By the time you're finished, I can head that way.
That is convenient. and really smart.
Yep, just like me.
A local business. And you know what I always say.
Oh, yes. Jim Chapman loves local.
Correct. And that makes me smart.
Oh, please. If you're in the mood for barbecue, go see Buddy's Barbecue at 105 Florida Avenue Southeast, right in the heart of Denham Springs. They're a proud sponsor of Local Leaders, the podcast.
And that was, you know, it's amazing. You know, that, of course, for all of us, that was an unbelievable,
Oh my God! Yes.
you know, it was like something out of biblical times, what was going
and
on
that was
here.
the second one of that year. I mean,
Yes.
it flooded in March. We didn't get it that bad here,
Right.
But Lower Livingston Parish had already had the brunt of
Yeah,
the March flood.
indeed. Yeah.
I rode down in Shane Mack's district, and I'm down there, and I'm going, "Oh my God, Shane! There's water running out of these people's homes and businesses." He goes, "I know. I can't even get there from where I'm at." You
Yeah.
know, and you couldn't do anything at that time. You got to wait till the water goes down, and then you go and help who you can help.
That's right.
but-
And I'll tell you this, when, you know, my house flooded and we had 6 feet almost in there, and you know, you're trying to make sense of all this, and I felt like I wanted to help everybody, and I couldn't because my house was, you know, I had 3 kids, a wife. Literally nobody saw this coming, so we're on Highway 16 with 1,000 other people,
Right,
and
right.
all the neighborhoods are flooded around us. And I'm thinking, you know, I want to help people, but I can't.
Can't.
I don't even have a place to live right now. You know, I got to get a trailer over here. And so if it weren't for the people that didn't flood, I don't know what I would have done, because those people helped me gut. Those people helped me sort through
And there
what was
were very
ruined, what
few-
wasn't.
Very few people available to do that.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
because
Exactly.
you know, and
Exactly.
we'd get to the end of a 16-hour day, and I'm like, baby, I need to go and help Jim,
Bubba
or whoever rip out some stuff, and she goes, baby, you know, it's 9:30 at night. You
Yeah. Yeah.
and you know, they didn't have any electric in these places. It was all still out, and
Yeah.
But yeah, we heard all those stories, and
It was
everybody would
awful.
come
Oh my
in,
God,
and
and we're
everybody,
bawling
you know,
and-
every customer you cried with.
Yeah.
And,
can you
know,
save this? Yes, I can.
Yeah, and you'd be amazed at the amount of people didn't think you could. They
and threw
just
it all out.
they threw it. I'm talking
Yeah.
every stitch of clothes, my wife
Yeah.
included, who you know was beside herself, and she's just throwing everything away. And I'm like, wait a minute, I can clean that. And she asked me about my clothes, and I said, no, I was putting them in a bag. I'm like, maybe somebody can save these,
Yeah.
and I was able to save some of those, fortunately. But
Yeah, you can. It just take. It was so overwhelming, the number though that was coming. At one point, we had 50 or 60 bedspreads piled up outside the building.
yeah,
Just couldn't even get them in the shop
yeah, that's amazing.
because I had to wet clean every piece.
Yes,
It wasn't dry clean, even though they were wool suits.
yeah,
And Leighton Ricks calls me. He goes, "All of my suits are wet," and I said, "Well, bring them, Leighton. We'll get them."
yeah.
And they were wool, like, what do you call it? You bought me that black coat, and I don't like it because I feel like a big Russian in it. Mohair or something.
Mohair.
But we were able to save all of that stuff. But I wet cleaned it all, and then I would have to hang it up and let it air dry because you couldn't tumble it dry because it would ruin.
It would shrink.
It would shrink.
Right.
So I'd have to air dry it all. And then if it was real bad and I needed to dry clean it, I'd dry clean it, and then they'd press it. My pressers would leave every day, and it looked like we didn't even put a dent in anything.
Yeah.
But
You
you
know,
know what? It's
It was a blessing that we were there for, like I said, the people that have done everything for us.
It really is. And you were a blessing to a lot of people. And you know, I even ran into people who almost felt guilty because they didn't flood.
Right.
yes,
Oh,
we
we
were
did.
that
I would
way.
tell
for
them.
those
sure.
people.
Yeah, yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, and if it wasn't for people, you know, had you flooded, we all would have not had any clothes. So thank goodness you
But,
did not.
You know, and people,
Yeah.
people would tell me that you don't understand because you didn't flood. And I go, whoa, wait a minute. I grew up in Holden.
Yeah.
In 83, the Tickfaw River was in my house 18 inches deep
Yeah,
and was in Quick and Handy Cleaners on Centerville Street 18 inches deep, the Amite River, at the same 3 days.
yeah,
And you know what had to come first? Cleaning out Quick and Handy so that we could do the clothes for the people of
There
Denham
you
Springs
go.
and Livingston Parish.
there you go. Well,
Then
thank
gut the
goodness.
house.
Thank goodness you were there.
5 times though we flooded
Yeah.
at that house.
Yeah.
But
So
I
you
didn't
know about
understand.
flooding.
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
about flooding. I know how devastating
You
and how
definitely do.
heartbreaking it is. And you open a cabinet and all of your pictures of your kids and your grandparents and all are just in a ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you think, well, that's just a picture. No, but that's the memory.
You know, it's interesting when I went in the middle of the daggum thing. It was still raining, and you know, it's I don't know, 4 feet on the street at that point. And I said, I'm swimming down there, and I'm seeing if I can save anything. And I swam and swam. My family and everybody else's were on that road, and I got to the house, couldn't get the door open. I'm like, man, what is going on? I'm pushing. The refrigerator had floated in front of the door, so I finally knocked it open. I go in there, and of course, it was just like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You know, it was like Titanic, furniture floating everywhere. And there was a picture of my son. It was like a 11 by 16 beautiful picture from when he was a baby. And it was just high enough, y'all, where the water hadn't got to it yet. And I said, that's what God's got me here for right now. And I went and swam, grabbed that picture, and I put it up high enough that I thought it was going to be okay. And you know, I swam back down the road, and the whole way I'm thinking, how am I going to tell my wife everything's gone?
Yeah, because you can't go, everything's okay. It's
fine. That's right.
And then have to deal with that later.
As soon as I got to that road, you know, I gathered up my family, and I said, we ain't got a thing left, but I saved that picture. And, you know, my thought was my computer, my this, my that. All my wife cared about were those pictures. That was it. Everything else, and it was a tough time. We saved what we could, but like I said, thank God for people like y'all that were there for us. Like
all the businesses that were able to open. So my daughter comes into town and she goes, Daddy, I can get there, but what are we going to eat? And I'm like, oh, what are we going to eat? She stopped by the Red Cross thing in front of Home Depot and picked us up dinners. My wife yelled at her, said, those are for the people that were unfortunate and flooded.
Yeah.
And I said, but baby, we didn't flood here, but we have to eat. And there's nowhere to eat. We're working for, my number one thing is to save a piece of clothes. I don't care whether it's that worst shirt you've ever seen. Yeah. You know? And so she's like, well, I guess you're right, you know?
It's yes. And, you know, it's amazing. The Red Cross gets... they got some, just blasted. And I'll tell you what, my family ate for several days only because the Red Cross existed, and they were going down my road handing out
this
meals.
Bottle of water and a hot dog without a bun is better than a hot dog with no hot dog.
That's right. We were
gutting my sister's house in Walker. She flooded. And some friends of ours, and we all got over there, and we tearing into it and all, and nothing to eat.
Yeah.
Okay, because every store. And we see the Red Cross truck coming down the road. I said, y'all run out there quick. Y'all got to get us something to eat. And the lady goes, well, how many do you need? It was like 12 of us. They said, well, take 20 because it's kind of sparse.
Yeah.
It didn't matter to me what was in that box.
Yeah.
Well, I don't particularly like beans, or I don't particularly want, but that's the wrong kind of potato chips. No, these people are out making sure somebody doesn't die from not eating.
That's right. And it was the best food I ever ate.
That's right. It was like a gourmet meal, you know?
Yes, and, absolutely. So we, you know, Scooter, but we get, as a community, you know, one thing I'll tell you about Livingston Parish right now is there ain't much we can't go through.
That's true.
I don't know many communities that would have made it through that flood. And we did. We came out of it. And
we all made it.
Yes.
We're stronger for it.
Yes.
The parish is much better prepared in the future.
Yes.
We've been working on major drainage enhancements. They take too long to get here when you're dealing with federal government money.
Red tape. But
when they come, they're going to help dramatically improve the lives of us in the future. Because I still get calls. I'll get calls from people that didn't flood.
Yeah.
And they'll go, well, if y'all don't clean that ditch out, it might get in my house this time.
Yeah.
And I said, the river didn't flood. You know, it didn't reach that far over to my district on the east side. And they go, oh, but my wife sits there every time it's raining, and she's going, you think it's going to get us this time? Yeah. Everybody has this.
It's like PTSD.
Yeah. I mean, the Mayor Landry said, what do he call it? Post-flood traumatic stress disorder. And it's still here. I mean, I'm talking about every time it rains hard, I get calls all day.
Yeah. So, it was that type of experience, but we did make it through, and then everything's kind of rolling along.
Let's hope and pray that we don't get another.
Yes.
This last week though with the ice event.
Yeah, I was watching the river stage.
It came up in a hurry.
Yeah, it did.
And we didn't get much rain.
No. No.
Now
It was a lot of it travels down the co-meet too, and that goes into the A meet, and then you can have problems that way.
yeah,
And
just depends on where it falls.
that's right.
Oh,
That's exactly right. But we did make it through, and then we get to 2020. We're coasting along, and wow, who would have saw COVID hit? Now I want to make an interesting point here that with regard to COVID. So there was a lot of industries that were hit a little bit harder than others. Everybody got hit, but your restaurants, your bars, your hairdressers, especially, but your industry got hit probably as hard or harder than almost everybody, and that is the dry cleaning industry.
and it's not just in the U.S., not in Dental Springs, not in Louisiana. It's worldwide. I'm in 4 or 5 different Facebook groups worldwide, and a lot of places are down 80, 90, 95% because they're completely locked down still.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Even though the numbers have declined 77% in the past 6 weeks in the U.S.,
Yes.
they still have places where they don't let you go anywhere.
Well, and here's the interesting thing, Scooter, and that is when you think about life before COVID, you had business guys, they were getting dressed, they were going to work. They needed their slacks looking, pressed and all these sorts of things. Their shirts nice and pressed, and life was rocking. But what happened was COVID hit. Everybody started working from home. When you work from home, you wear T-shirts and shorts, and you're good to go, and you're loving life. But your dry cleaner's like, oh my gosh, where did you go?
Well, I think Kay did a figure. She figured the other day, second quarter of 2020, we were down 67%.
Yeah, that's huge.
Okay, so some of those weeks, that means we looked at each other for 8 or 9 hours a day and didn't do anything. We just stood there going, baby, there's nobody coming. Jeff Taylor, my friend Jeff, would come and sit in the drive-thru, and we'd be talking about COVID or different things. He'd sit there 45 minutes to an hour sometimes.
Without
didn't have to move.
Coming in.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Jeff, he goes, oh my goodness, I got to do something to help the people. I got to do something to help people with their assessments.
So what do you think about this?
What do you think about this? And I'm like, I said, as long as it's fair on everybody and you're legally able to help us.
Yeah.
He goes, well, it's kind of on the fringe. I said, look, you the assessor, you do what you think is right.
Yeah.
And it always comes out right. After the flood, he did the same thing, and it helped people a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you're right. The COVID deal, I mean, we were deemed non-essential.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's crazy.
And we ended up being essential.
Yeah.
Okay? But, some of these places in our country, they deemed their dry cleaners essential. They're working. I was reading this yesterday. These dry cleaners are wanting to be deemed non-essential, taken off the essential list because they're getting where they can't get any help.
Yes.
Because they were able to stay open.
Very good
Even though we
point.
stayed open,
all of a sudden you can't get PPP money.
67%.
Yeah.
And so they're like, whoa, wait a minute. We're petitioning, please write your governors, your senators, your House of Representatives that remove dry cleaning industry from the essential list so that we can get the help we need to stay open.
Yeah, because it doesn't do you any good to be essential if nobody's coming in there, right?
Yeah, that's right.
The paint business was essential, and it rocked and rolled
Because
in
people were
COVID.
home.
Because people were home,
like,
they
"Let's
have
fix it
nothing to
up."
do, and let's look around and see what we can paint.
How
It
social
still hasn't
distance can
recovered.
you be than painting in your own house?
That's
You
right.
know?
That's right.
Right.
And so obviously there's no need for any assistance when your sales are shooting up.
Right.
But if you're essential and nobody's coming in there and then you can't get assistance, that's not good. So
Not good.
very, very happy to obviously frequent quick and handy cleaners
I'm glad
and
you come in
do
too.
the little bit that I can, to help.
Appreciate you.
Every customer is my best customer.
Yeah, that's right.
Whether it's one
that's a
shirt
great
or a
policy.
bag that you can't even pick up, you're my best customer.
Yeah. And BJ Pawn and Gun in Denham Springs wants to buy your unwanted gold jewelry, gold coins, and gold bullion. With 30 years of experience operating in the Livingston Parish area, BJ Pawn wants to be your source when selling your gold. So stop by BJ Pawn today for a no-obligation offer. BJ Pawn, a proud sponsor of Local Leaders, the podcast. I'll tell you, another thing we asked you that really struck me was we asked, what advice do you have to give another business owner? And you basically said you have to be flexible. As business leaders, you solve problems every day, all day. And if you remain stagnant, you will die.
You will.
Very true.
You always got to grow. If you don't try and grow, not just in business, in your whole life.
Yes.
You got.
True.
We would have never done this 5 years ago. I've been like, no, Jim, that's crazy. I'm not doing a podcast.
Yeah. What is a podcast?
Yeah, what is that?
What is that?
But give
you
him
know,
your take.
Rush Limbaugh?
Yeah. Oh boy. But yeah, I'm trying to think what kid it was. I had stayed home with one of the babies. I was on maternity leave.
Patrick.
Reese.
Reese.
His mother says, we can't take credit cards. We can't, and customers were coming in and they would get aggravated because we wouldn't take a debit card or a credit card, and they were having to go to the bank, go to the ATM, get cash, come back.
She goes,
And she says, people don't need to put dry cleaning on a credit card. I said, well, Miss Winnie, now people use debit cards. They're not. It's not just credit cards; it's their debit cards. I said, we have to take credit cards. So finally, she, went down and did it. But think about if we would not have changed and said, "Oh, okay, well, we're not going to do that."
If she hadn't been there, I'd have been like, "You're right. We want cash. It's tough."
Yeah.
That's
right. Yeah. It's interesting. You have to innovate, right?
That's right. You have to be.
You have to constantly find ways of getting your message out there, no matter what it is. Find ways of staying in the public's perspective and keeping them there and letting them know you're still,
I'm glad
functioning.
you said that, because the biggest thing, I think the biggest misconception is that dry cleaners only dry clean.
Yeah.
That is the least thing we do.
Yes.
Okay. These shirts like we have on, they look much better when we do them. We'll wet clean these.
Yes.
Dry them on low.
Yes.
Then they steam press them up real nice. Check them for buttons.
Grease spots.
Look, if you're doing your clothes at home and you get a grease spot on your shirt and you go, I can't wear that. It's got a grease spot.
Yeah.
5 minutes, it's gone at my shop.
Yeah.
I can dry clean it. It's gone.
Yeah.
Anything greasy it's coming right out.
There you go.
I've had people call and go, friends of ours, I got a blue shirt and I was cooking fish and it splattered all over. We can't get it out. I said, bring it to me, bro. I get it. Gone. It's perfect again. You didn't have to throw it away.
Yeah.
But
and people need to know that.
Oh, they need to know that.
That's huge.
We don't just do dry cleaning. We don't just do wedding dresses or prom dresses. We do anything that you have.
Yeah.
Bedspreads, comforters, sheets.
Wash and fold.
Wash and fold.
Yeah.
I tell you what, casual wear, most people think, well, I don't need to take that to the dry cleaners. You do if you want it to last longer and look nice during the life of that garment. Bring it to me, because we put specialized chemicals in. We don't just throw some Tide in there in a washing machine.
Right.
I mean, we put many different softeners and different surfactants to remove the stains and perspiration and things safely without removing all the color.
Yeah, you're not spraying shout all over.
No. You won't find any of that in the back of Quick and
We
Handy.
do household items and wash and fold. And,
interesting little.
She was going to advertise during COVID that we'll do your pajamas that you're working in every day. Bring them in and we'll clean them and press them and put them on a hanger, and then you'll look nice at least in your pajamas.
That's right. That's right, because you got to go on Zoom with your businesses and
the funniest thing, Jim. I've got some customers our customers ever since COVID hit would come in very rarely and they'd go, man, I'm sorry I hadn't been bringing as much, but I'm working from home. And I said, we understand. I get it. Hopefully one day you'll go back to normal. Our world will get back to normal, and you'll start wearing your dress clothes to work. And they go, well, yeah, because right now I'm just wearing a dress shirt and a pair of boxers sitting in front of that little. And I'm like, you didn't really need to let us know that.
Yeah, that might be too much information.
But now I picture that every time they walk in.
I love it. Well, a little known fact, when I was, one of my first real jobs was with Dillard's. And what I would do is the majority of what I did was sit there and I would be in my department and I would fold clothes
with the little
all
board?
The time. Yes. But I didn't have a board. I had to learn without the board. So it's funny because even today, in my dresser drawers, all of my stuff is folded the exact. Yes, my wife's like, "This is the best thing about you."
I think that's called ADD or something.
Oh, and so look, it's the most relaxing thing. It's so crazy because I'll sit there and I'll take a big load of clothes, and I love folding clothes. And my wife's like, "This is just great."
Jim, when we get through,
20 years I've been doing that.
I did 2 loads. They're in the dryer at the house. You're welcome to sit on the couch tonight. We'll watch a ball game.
I'm telling you, I'm gonna get a lot of messages about that.
At the house, though, are drawer socks and sheets and towels.
Yeah.
Everything else we wear goes with us to the cleaners,
Yeah, absolutely.
But we do that with our wash and fold. We do have one of those folding things. So I do the T-shirts
she
and
makes
fold
them
them
neat,
all.
man. And when they like, oh my.
This is like at the store.
And like when you're sitting on the couch and you're not even looking, you just,
Yeah, just rolling socks up and that's right. So you do have that. So you do wash and fold. We talked about that. And you clean formal wear, obviously, all those sorts of things. Casual clothes, you clean those.
I did a dress today for a lady. I called her. It was a light blue dress, and it had the glued on glitter. I probably got it all on me, and it was some of the glitter was already coming off, and it said spot clean only. If it doesn't have any designs or anything on it, you can dry clean it.
Yes.
So I called her and I said, "Ma'am, you cannot dry clean this dress. Every piece of glitter will come off." I said, "I'm gonna professionally wet clean it and do it by hand, hang it up." When I got it out a while ago, it looked beautiful. Man, I was like, yeah, right again.
Perfect.
But I usually am. And I'm all full of myself. I don't know if you know.
That's all right.
When it comes to cleaning clothes, you're that way with paint. I'm that way with dry cleaning.
Yeah.
It'll be funny. Somebody on this Facebook group for dry cleaners will be going, well, what do you use? Should I go get some OxyClean or something? This is cleaners.
Yeah, this is real cleaning.
And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
And I go, you should never, ever do this. And then the people from our DLI, the Dry Clean and Laundry Institute, they got a lady on there that's also on this Facebook group. And she'll go, what Scooter said.
Yeah.
And I'll show my wife, and I go, see, I told you I know everything about dry cleaning.
That's perfect. Now, we talked about your cleaners, and I do want to talk a little bit about the Livingston Parish Council as well, because you are a member. Now, here's something interesting about the council. Everybody has a nickname, right? So you got to have a nickname. You got a Frog, you got a Scooter, you got a G-Boy,
a Bubba.
So, first of all, I want to know where the name Scooter came from.
You want to tell it? All right, so of course, I was born. They brought me home from the hospital. And they put me in my little baby bed.
Yep.
I was 2 weeks old. Yeah. And I was scooting from one end to the other. And my grandmother walked in and said, "Oh, look at the little Scooter." And so from 2 weeks old. Now, why I was scooting around at 2 weeks old, I shouldn't have been doing nothing but laying there going, I can barely breathe here,
Yeah.
But that's what it's always
his
stuck.
Personality, you see. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm only Maurice when I put a suit on, so I don't get called that very often. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. But a great nickname. I mean, Scooter's hard to beat. That's a good one. It's better than Frog, even.
I don't know. You can picture Gary as a frog. Yeah.
Don't go there.
We've got our pictures on the wall of the council chambers. In the first 4 years, it was just a picture of a frog up there because he didn't like the way his picture came out.
That's hilarious.
But you can picture Scooter as a scooter. It's not human or an animal.
Well, it's a great name.
From humble beginnings in 1989, Big Mike's has long been a place for friends and family to gather for lunch, dinner, and drinks. Big Mike, Jocelyn, and their friendly staff invite you to come in and relax in one of their spacious dining areas, or watch a game on one of the big screen TVs. Big Mike's is a place to meet old friends or make new ones. Big Mike's offers daily and nightly specials, and they specialize in serving up delicious and fresh menu items. Big Mike's offers a catering menu for large groups and has private party rooms for up to 100 guests. Whether you're planning a quick lunch or a large family dinner, or just a night out with friends, Big Mike welcomes you to experience a great time. And don't forget to grab some t-shirts, caps, or koozies in the gift shop. Oh, or a bottle of Big Mike's Honey Dijon. It's delicious. Big Mike's Sports Bar and Grill. We're kind of a big deal.
Anyway, so one of the things that y'all are doing that's exciting me and Miss Kay, we were talking about this the other day, was some litter cleanup that you're doing.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that.
It's the annual litter cleanup in Watson, and it's arranged by Miss Bobby Jo Cox-Gayran, and she's, I don't know if you know Miss Bobby Jo, but she's about a female version of me. She talks a whole lot and fast, and but she's a go-getter. And she's a runner, and and so those runners, they and she's my neighbor.
Okay,
so she's been my neighbor ever since we moved out there.
Yeah,
and she said, we had to skip last year because of COVID.
Sure,
we can't skip this year. It's gotten out of hand, and I talked to her last night, and what she has lined up is amazing. The Live Oak football team, the Denham football team, all of the different school groups of volleyball, of basketball, all of these groups from Denham and Live Oak.
Great.
Other municipal groups, it's a list that you'll know about it next weekend.
Yeah.
Because that needs to be put out. Who is going to do this? We're going to clean all the way from Lockhart Road all the way up to 1019.
Fantastic.
Every single road.
Yeah.
There will be a roll-off dumpster at North Park in my district, so I'm going to be there at 8 o'clock Saturday, March 6th. And the teams that are going to be cleaning the southern part of that area, like the Lockhart Road north of it, is going to meet up and bring back all the garbage to the roll-offs there. And then at what used to be Down Home Grill location on 16 up in Watson, that's owned by Gary, and Gary donated the use of that parking area.
Fantastic.
That's where the roll-off on that end is going to be, and he's going to be there that Saturday morning, and we're going to just pitch in and haul garbage and pick up and clean our parish up.
Yeah.
I was asked yesterday by, I think it was Jamie Seal with Quality Engineering. He goes,
"No, Jamie.
Are we going to be cleaning up in Port Vincent?" I said, "No, none of the other councilmen. We offered that, hey, March 6th when we're doing it."
Yeah.
They said maybe the next time we'll have more time to arrange.
Yeah.
And our goal is that if we get this garbage up, get some litter initiatives in place, some signage. Please don't litter. Don't trash the LP up. This is too good a place. We love it here.
Yeah.
That maybe it'll stay that way.
Yeah.
Well,
the number one problem with drainage, in my opinion, is litter.
Is garbage. On localized, on flash floods, it is.
Yeah.
Well, you're paying DPW to go out there and clean out culverts before rain events.
Gravity drainage.
drainage.
And then immediately.
That's our tax dollars.
Yes.
Saw volleyball in the end of a pipe last the Thursday that rained so hard right before the beach ball in the end of a pipe.
Yeah.
And I'm like, people, before the
That's
event
block
hit,
it up.
Please get out and pick up around your yard. Get the basketballs and beach balls and volleyballs and put them inside the garage or inside your house. Pick up any limbs that are right there. The parish, there's no way we could raise enough money to clean every little thing out of every ditch. So,
people got to take some responsibility.
Bobby Jo and a friend of hers, I live on Clinton Allen Road, and she lives next door to our property. And her and a friend of hers clears from Cane Market Road about 100 yards past my property.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, well, maybe we're going to pick up next Saturday. We're going to get on the mule and we're going to clean Clinton Allen.
Yeah.
And last night I talked to her. I said, "Who cleaned it up?" "Oh, we cleaned it up." I said, All right, what else you want me to do? So she's going to have us picking up the actual bags of garbage with my truck and transporting them to the roll-off.
Yeah.
But yes, it's important, and we need to do it every year and
Parish-wide.
do it parish-wide.
Yeah.
And we need to have a.
It's a huge thing. It's a huge issue, and the thing is, it's something that we as citizens can control, right? So
But can we? We have to change the mindset.
Yes.
If you're driving home with a box of chicken and you got through eating it, yeah, I understand. We all got to eat going down the road nowadays. That's good for my business.
Yeah,
Because I get the grease out.
That's right. Yeah.
But take it home and put it.
Absolutely.
If you don't have a garbage pickup at your house, come put it in my dumpster. Go put it in somebody's garbage can. Don't throw it out in the middle of the road. This is where you live.
Yes.
You know, take pride in what
Teach your kids that.
Yes.
Yeah, I was amazed how much the flood cleaned our parish.
Yeah. Yeah. It flushed it all down.
It all went down to Randy's district, you know. But it's amazing. Where I hunt on the other side of the Amite River in East Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
Just on the north side of the bridge.
Yeah.
And the amount of garbage in the woods. What we got?
Go ahead.
The amount of garbage in the woods is astounding. That's hung up in those woods.
Yes.
That floated down.
Yeah.
You know, and you can't go clean the woods.
Right.
But if we never put it out on the road so it can make it to the river to get stuck in the woods in the first place, you wouldn't even have to see it.
No,
It's
I
already
agree.
gone.
I agree 100%. With regard to fabric, we were talking about fabric earlier. What fabric do you just cringe at when it comes in? It's like, oh, this is going to be hard to clean. Is there any that's
I really think-
harder, or is it all just
silks and things like
Silks,
that?
yeah.
Acetates, rayons, you know.
kind of tough?
Yeah, you know, and I've
So
seen
don't try to clean it yourself.
No,
is
don't
what
try
you're
and clean it
saying.
yourself.
Yeah.
You can't get it back straight. You can wet clean it, and a lot of times it's fine at home if
Yeah.
you washed it, but you're never going to get the wrinkles out of it.
Yeah.
If you overheat polyester, you know, if you take a polyester shirt like this and you dry it on hot and leave it sitting in the dryer,
Yeah.
that's never coming out.
Really?
You can't get
Wow.
enough steam to fix that.
That's interesting.
But,
Good tip.
I've noticed this since COVID. You'll have this sporadic color gone places where the color is missing out of blouses and pants.
Yes.
It's hand sanitizer. If you know how you put it on and you do like this and it goes, oh, I got it on me. Well, if it's on cotton or something, you usually don't have an issue.
Yeah.
You get it on silk, dye is gone because it's
Interesting.
alcohol. It's
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
and
That's interesting.
people will bring in something and they'll go, can you fix this? And I'm like, that's some of the things I can't fix. Once the color's out, the color's out.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't bring the color back.
Well, you can even dye it,
Yeah.
and that one spot will still be different color than the rest of it.
Yeah. That makes sense. That
But
makes
what
sense.
would you say is the hardest?
I mean, that's probably
Silk taffeta for wedding dresses?
yeah. Those are challenges.
They're challenges. I said, baby, you're going to have to come finish this one. I can't.
Yeah.
When you have to hand finish an entire wedding dress.
And then it's a wedding dress, and it's like, so you know how important that is.
That's right.
You know, you're not doing a T-shirt.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, wow, just the stress I must involve.
I'm glad you mentioned that. One of the best things I ever got to do, it was on a Friday afternoon at the old plant. And a lady came in, and it was her and her daughter, and they're crying. The daughter's frantic. They went to get ready to go to wherever, and they lifted up the back of the SUV, and when they put the wedding dress in it, it got black grease all over it off of the hinge.
Yeah.
She's freaking out. Cleaners,
wedding-
wedding's
the wedding was the
day.
next day.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, wow.
So she's freaking out, and I said, ma'am, the cleaners had been off for hours, you know, and
Yeah.
it takes a lot of time and effort to fire the boilers back up, get everything back going. And I said, baby, look, don't worry about it. I said,
Yeah.
I'm going to fix it.
Yeah.
It's going to be like it never happened. And later, like 2 or 3 hours later, Kay had the dress all pressed, and the lady comes in, and the girl's like, oh, my God. And that's why I like doing what cleaning your shirt
Yeah.
is cleaning your shirt.
Yeah.
But when you can save somebody's day,
Oh, that's huge. Yeah.
and people are like, he's just cleaning clothes.
Yeah. Yeah. Look,
That's
man, you're
right.
changing lives over there. Quick and
one
handy
of your
cleaning.
best, one of the best days of your life that you thought was ruined.
Yeah.
And that's why we do what we do.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. That's huge. And that's passion. And that's loving what you do. And
that
I
was
was,
my mom. She said,
Yeah.
"You're gonna take every piece and treat it like it's the piece." You know.
yeah. And I was talking to Miss Kay the other day, and one of the words she used was, she said, this is our baby. That's the way we view this. And and that, what that tells me is that's many, many, many years of hard work and taking care of it just like you do a child, right? And
I couldn't believe we've been in that new place 15 years.
Yeah.
And it seems like it was like yesterday.
Yeah.
Young
guy like you, Scooter, it's all, it's all yesterday.
Baby needs a new coat of paint. You know anybody?
I do know a paint guy. I also want to mention another service that you offer that I absolutely love is the 24-hour drop-off. Right. So Scooter and Miss Kay don't even have to be there for you to bring your clothes.
The other day you dropped some off, and when I got to the shop, I forget if we were short-handed or what, but we don't get much in the mornings anymore. So if all I got was Jim's, I would have to clean all yours by themselves.
Yeah.
Run every machine.
Yeah.
So I sent a Facebook message.
Yeah, he did. He's like, you don't need these today.
Do you need these today? And he goes, no, man, just need time. And I'm like, and then I got 3 or 4 more that had to have them that day, so yours got done too.
Perfect. Perfect.
But
we were talking about being flexible. It's like you have to be flexible whenever the dry cleaning industry kind of is going down. So it's like, okay, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
All right, what are we going to do? I mean, we're both in our 50s. Like, you can't start a new career. Well, you can start a new career.
You can become a politician.
Yeah.
You could do that.
We see how that's going.
Pays really well, too.
Yeah, really. But, so we started, that's when we started doing wash and fold. We actually do a route now.
And home delivery
we're picking
and pickup,
home delivery and pickup. So we have an app. You get on there, quick and handy app.
Really? I did not know
It's
that.
on the App Store, man.
Come on.
Big time.
Yep.
Doggone it.
You can,
quick and handy.
You can schedule a pickup and delivery, and then we started doing some wholesale accounts, and we talked to a man today. That we're going to start doing some clothes for cleaners in Port Allen.
Fantastic.
So, I asked him, I said, how bad is your business down? He said, 50%.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, and I can't pay my employees.
Oh, that's a bad problem.
So
but
he
the most exciting thing is that we've never been able to have a cleaners in South Livingston Parish.
Yes.
So with all this, we're in conjunction with the laundromat down by the diversion
What's
canal.
The name
of
it? Is it Bubbles and Suds? Anyhow, it's in the Cerritos strip right there.
Yes.
Right before you get to diversion on the left.
Yep.
We don't have a sign up yet. It still says Lejeun's Cleaners. Well, Lejeun's and Gonzalez went out of business, and Michael called us, said somebody recommended y'all.
Okay.
And so we go down to diversion now twice a week and pick up clothes and bring them back.
Yeah.
And
I take credit for recommending, although I
thank you very much. but that is
You're
something
welcome.
that we've always wanted to service Lower Livingston Parish, and now we have a avenue to do that.
Yeah.
And I was going down there. We have one customer at the end of the diversion canal. We need to get a bunch of customers on diversion canal because that thing is 6.5 miles long and they're at the end. And you can go 27.
And I'll tell you what, if you're on the diversion canal or anywhere around it, go see Scooter Keene and Kay Keene at Quick and Handy, and they will take care of you.
We'll take care of them, and we'll put buttons on them too.
Yeah,
That's right.
And you're always looking for buttons, are you not?
Oh yeah, we have to.
Look,
I look at every piece.
I actually no. I'm talking about looking people to bring them to.
Oh yeah, bring them to us.
Give them to you.
You find all your spares.
Yeah,
that you
I got
just take off and
tons.
throw them in a drawer.
Yeah, that's what I do with them.
Bring them. You may make somebody's day with that one day.
I'm
Usually
gonna
hers.
I'm gonna start keeping.
She'll tell me she'll go, oh my God, did you find this button? There's no way I'm gonna be able to match that button. And about 10 minutes later, she go, woo woo. That's what she goes. The button gods are smiling. The sewing gods are smiling on me today.
That's
because after COVID hit, our seamstress moved to Prairieville, so Kay's the seamstress. She's got all her other jobs, plus that.
Yeah.
Plus helping me on the counter, plus helping the girls in the evening, and
they've been handling it by themselves lately. So
we've been busy with other stuff,
Well, and you know, it's interesting. Dane Arnold at iTrade Exchange, he was a tailor. That's what he did
Yes,
before
yes.
he got in the iTrade Exchange business. But
Made custom shirts.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and I have had that conversation.
yeah,
so.
yeah.
I told him, I said, maybe
tell him,
that's a
"Get over
service
here
I
and-"
might need to do. That's
That's right. Yeah.
Something else to the list.
Say Dane on Wednesdays from
On
9 to
Wednesdays.
12, you have to work it quick and
That's it. That's the deal. I like it.
But we do everything. I mean, from leathers.
Alterations.
I got 7 leather coats in today from one lady, and they were all covered in mold.
Now, we're not
wow.
a disclaimer
We're
here.
not a professional leather cleaner,
Yeah.
but I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
And most of them were slick leather, smooth leather.
Yeah.
And those come out most of the time really well.
That's
Occasionally, one of them will go, we didn't want you to touch me. But
Yeah.
most of the time, how many did we get? 200 or 300 after the flood?
Wow.
And hundreds of wedding dresses.
Yeah, you're pretty much a professional, even though the
Right.
disclaimer,
Well,
but
there's so much in
you know
it
what you're
that-
doing.
that
Well,
you professional leather cleaners charge
Reach.
$75, $80, $100 to clean a coat. I charge
Yeah.
$25.
yeah,
But they'll take them, and after you get through, they'll respray them with
Re-dye 'em
re-dye the
and-
color so that it matches the way it did before.
yeah,
Well, if I'm real careful with them, if they're not extremely bad,
yeah.
most of the time that's not necessary. Sometimes it is, and the people will go, I just need it so I can wear it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what we tell them when they come in. So.
Sure. Well, very good. And so obviously y'all are innovating your business and you're doing all these things. We learned a lot today that we didn't know, such as your app is a great thing. We definitely wanted to mention your 24-hour drop off. You know, you handle commercial clients as well, I would imagine, as also just regular homeowners like me who come in there and drop a bunch of clothes off.
You shouldn't even own an iron. Your husband should be ashamed of himself for even thinking that you need to iron a shirt.
She'll wash them and all, but she ain't ironing. that's where she draws the
And I'm
line, and
like-
she ain't ashamed to say
And they're
it.
like, "What are you doing?" I said, "Don't worry about it."
Yeah, that's right.
But you mentioned the parish council, and then we kind of just blew past that.
Yeah. Well, I didn't want to get too far involved in it if you didn't want to, but we can. Miss K started looking at that watch, and I'm like, right.
I just wanted to make sure. I just wanted to make sure we was okay for
This
now.
was something that we've always had good representation on the parish council in my district,
Yes.
and I thought one day I want to do that. You
Yeah.
know? I want to see, what I can do to help move our parish forward.
Sure.
And a lot of people don't understand that the parish council is just the legislative branch. We make the laws. We
Yeah.
can't enforce anything. We can't do anything like that. That's for the parish president to handle.
Yeah.
Sheriff's office, people like that. Well, it got time to run one time, and they changed the line.
Mm-hmm.
And I was told it wasn't to take me out of the district. It was to take 2 of us out of the district that were going to run against somebody else.
William Waldrop of TWFG Insurance in Denham Springs can service all of your insurance needs. Offering auto, life, health, and commercial insurance, William Waldrop of TWFG Insurance is a proud supporter of Local Leaders, the podcast.
And I ended up in Cindy Wales
Wales.
district.
Yeah.
My daughter Olivia and Cindy's son Jeffrey have been best friends since
They went to school together.
went to school together.
Yeah.
They're both attorneys.
Yeah.
And Jeffrey's an attorney also.
Yeah.
And
That's interesting.
Cindy calls me and she goes, "Are you still going to run against me?" I said, "No, ma'am." I said, "Whenever it gets where you don't want to run anymore, then I'll go.
Yeah.
I'll run." Because, we were busy back then. We didn't, this
Yeah.
was in like,
You need another thing to do, like a hole in your
right,
head,
right.
basically.
Get little kids at home and stuff, and
Yeah.
So anyway.
it finally came time, and Kay goes, "Did you pray about it?" I said, "Yeah, I prayed about it." She goes, "Well," and I said, "He didn't answer me yet." I said, "God don't answer me in the time frame that I want to answer. He answers you whenever he gets ready
right.
to answer you."
It's only his time.
Yeah.
She goes, "Well, if you don't get an answer, then it's a no. You don't need to do this." Because that's how we live. We're not perfect people, but we believe that Jesus and God handles what
At least gives us direction.
Gives you
handle,
direction.
you have to do
Absolutely.
the rest.
You gotta,
Yes.
and you got to
Agreed.
listen for it. And I'm hard to listen for it because I don't listen a lot. I talk a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody noticed. So, about a week later, I'm thinking, well, I'm not going to be able to run for the parish council. And it wasn't anything that was going bad, except they were fighting up there all the time
Yeah.
with each other between the parish president and the council. And I said, we're better than this. We are.
Yeah.
And it was just personality disputes and different things. It just was clash all the time. You'd look at one and you'd go, the meeting, and you go, that's not necessary.
Yeah.
We're all the people of Livingston Parish. So I'm in the back one day, and in strolls Mr. Jerry Denton.
Yeah.
Jerry comes in and he hands me a little paper. I said, what's this? And it says, read it. And it said, how to win local elections. And I said, well, Mr. Jerry, I appreciate that, but I think I've decided that I'm not going to run. He goes, oh, no, you're going to run. We need you.
You don't have a choice.
I said, but you're in the city. I said, I'm outside the city. He goes, your district borders all around the city of Denham Springs, and we need
Right.
you.
Yeah.
So I walked in the front, and I said, baby, Mr. Jerry brought me this. I said, maybe I'm supposed to run. She goes, no, he was being nice, because Jerry's such a nice person. He's
Yeah.
just a great
Very.
guy. And so I walked to the back, and a little while later, they said, hey, Scooter, ladies at the counter, she needs you. God, dog it. I'm just now.
And this whole time he's telling me, God's not answering
God's
me.
not answering. God's not
God's not
answering.
answering
So I
me.
Who
walked up to
knew
the
God
front.
was Jerry Denton?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Like George Burns. So.
So I walked to the front, and the lady goes, I heard you were going to run for parish council. I said, well, I don't think I am. She goes, we need you really badly, and we know that you're honest, and you'll do a good job for
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
And I walked over to Kay. I said,
And he was white as a ghost.
I got tears in my eyes. I walked over there. I said, looks like I'm running for parish council. So we ran. I didn't run.
Yeah.
We ran with my kids, with our friends,
Yes.
walk up to people's doors, ring the doorbell, got my Scooter King, vote for Scooter King.
Yeah.
Who's Scooter King? Me. Soaking wet. So this fat guy walks up to your door, burning up after a hard day at the shop.
Yeah.
Well, what are you going to do for us? I ain't got a clue. I can tell you this. You won't see me calling out other public officials during the meeting.
Yeah.
If I got to handle it, we're going to handle it in the parking lot,
Yeah.
before or after. I'll be respectful to the people of Livingston Parish. And I don't know what else besides that there is to do.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I
that's
can
good.
tell you, this man sitting next to me, he takes this job serious.
100%.
They say that's good enough. We're voting for you.
Yeah.
I don't have a clue.
But
Yeah.
and he didn't know anything about. He didn't know there was gravity drainage districts or
So,
who handled anything.
We get
but-
elected, and they go, who you going to appoint to the boards? I said, what boards? And they hand me a sheet, and there's like 14 of them. I'm like, oh.
But I guarantee you ask him right now, he knows every board, every
Yes.
person,
And who I put on
you
it,
know,
and
different. He allows his people to to do their job, but he stays on informed.
if there's
and
something
into-
coming up at one of the gravity drainage districts or the PARDS board or the library, but all of these different boards, the tourism board,
Yeah.
I didn't ever have an appointment to the tourism board, and we're expanding it. Buddy Mincy is taking care of expanding it to 9. So all 9 councilmen will have an appointment on the tourism board.
Okay.
Shouldn't you? The planning commission, we have 9 because
Yeah.
there's 9 districts.
Yeah.
But I'll call and then go, what's going on with this? Y'all need to look at this. I don't believe this is the right thing to do. I said, but it's up to y'all.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to be mad at however y'all decide is the right thing. But just look at it hard,
Yeah.
and they'll call me
But
back.
he
and say,
has done so much homework, and this is the kid who grew up in Holden,
Yeah.
doing drainage and playing in
I
the
used
ditch,
to
and
build dams and everything. And
so this drainage business
I love
is
Yeah,
I was
so
up his
much
alley.
fun. Yeah.
So I took her to Gravity 1 is my main drainage district.
Yes.
Okay. And it's run by a really good board, got a good manager, lots of money,
Lots
Yeah.
of projects.
lots of projects because we get a 1/2 cent sales tax and an ad valorem tax of 5 mils.
Fantastic.
Okay. People just voted it back in when we got reelected year before last
Yeah.
for 15 years.
Yeah.
So they
They
trust
appreciate
it. They
it.
believe
know
that it
it.
works.
Yeah.
Okay. So I bring her to I said, come on, we're going to go to the drainage meeting. That was her. She did
Two in one.
2 in 1 meeting, the first one and the last one. She goes, oh, my God, that's boring. I said, I thought it was great.
Come on, Miss Gay.
You know?
He's looking at all these different,
So,
Then I got one better than that. So then we formed a master plan review committee.
Yeah.
I appointed her
There you go.
so that she would have to go and deal with stuff.
but that's unpaid. So
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. So
You
I
could
could
do
appoint her
that.
because there's no stipend, there's no nothing.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I could even be on it if I wanted to.
Sure.
And I said, no, you got time. And she's like, okay,
Yeah.
it's for our parish. I'll do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then COVID hit, and
Fantastic.
they hadn't been able to meet much in the past year. But
Well, I had told Miss Kay, I think you're doing a great job, and you're not my
appreciate that.
personal councilman, but I pay a lot of attention to the parish council, and I just take a very big interest in it personally.
anything you need to tell us?
No, I think y'all are doing a great
No,
job.
I mean about you.
Oh, I mean, no, nothing. But I will say, I find a lot of you guys up there are doing the best you can. But with you, I see a lot of honesty with you, and me and Miss Kay talked about that. You're a genuine guy, and I truly believe you do what you can to help people.
Well, they don't, and they don't call me because I'll show up at your house.
Yeah, that's right. And look, that's a great thing.
Guy called me
to
one
have.
day on Linda Road. He said, they got a trailer park next to my house, and all of their cesspools are overflowing and it's flooding sewage. And I don't deal with sewage. That's DHH. So,
Yeah.
but man called me and he goes, I'm having all this sewage running over here, and I've done called everybody. I said, well, I'll be there in about 6 minutes. He goes, you coming to my house? I said, yeah, right now. I'm turning on Linda on a road now. And I said, I'll be there. So I pull up, went out there wading through a sewage, all out there in my tennis shoes. And sure enough, there was sewage flowing out of cesspools from the trailer park.
Wow.
I called Mr. Sam DeGirolamo. Now, this was the first 6 months maybe.
yeah, it was long.
I called Mr. Sam. I said, Mr. Sam, yeah. I said, man, I'm out here, and the whole guy's yard's full of sewage. Oh, well, let me get out there.
Yeah.
He don't deal with sewage either.
Yeah.
So they looked at it and everything. They said, well, we'll contact DHH and call Keenan out at Livingston. He's the guy for DHH from Livingston.
Yeah.
And nothing happened. So the guy called me back. He goes, I got Channel 2 coming. It was Cheryl Mercedes.
Oh.
That's Channel 9, huh?
Yeah.
Got Channel 9 coming.
Uh-oh.
Cheryl Mercedes said, you going to come? I said, yeah, I'm coming. I come over there, and I'm like, yeah. I said, well, we're going to get this fixed. I said, I don't care whose issue it is, but this can't happen. I said, and we don't have anything to say. So finally they forced the
all
guy to
straight.
tie in on city sewage. He put a lift station in, tied it, filled all the cesspools, crashed his old sewage pond in the back.
Yeah.
Now the guy's yard's just nice and neat,
There you go.
And the guy put a Shannon Sloan sign up that was running against me. After all them times I stood in sewage
I'll
in his
be
yard.
darned.
And I'm like, all right, I'm going to remember that.
Yeah.
I don't remember that. I mean, I do, but it has no bearing on how I don't care who puts whose sign up.
Yeah.
I'm your councilman.
That's it.
You know, the day after the if I got 50 plus one, I won. I don't care who you supported.
Yeah.
And we can all learn a lot from that.
That's right.
You know, somebody gets disgruntled with my business and they say, well, I'm not coming back in here. I'm going to such and such. I said, well, if you ever need us in the future, you're welcome. Please come back. And the grass wasn't greener where I went.
Yeah. And then some people, Scooter, they support somebody. Maybe they have a personal
know 'em.
relationship.
Yeah, sure.
And it doesn't mean they're necessarily
Against
against
you.
somebody else.
Yeah.
They just might have a relationship.
Now, that's
somewhere
very
or something.
hard. To know that you went and talked to someone and they was going to support you and you helped them with an issue and then they supported somebody else.
Yeah.
But the day after, you got to forget it.
Sure.
And
Yeah. And maybe that person will see what you're doing and say,
they
hey,
did.
man,
He came and apologized to me.
really?
He
That's huge.
goes, man, I'm sorry. I did you wrong. I said, you didn't do me wrong.
Yeah.
I said, I still won.
That's right.
I actually told him that.
Now, had you lost, he'd have done you
Yeah,
wrong.
he done. I told him. I
Well,
said,
you
"You
sure
sure
did."
by one.
He said, well, that's
That's
who
it.
I'm voting for. I said, well, I got one vote, and I just canceled yours. I got a little snippy for a second, and I said, he'll call me back. He'll need it. And see, we're not supposed to, and people will go, well, my previous council person, she wouldn't come out here in my yard. And I'm like, my goodness, it was Miss Cindy Well. You want her wading through your sewage in your yard?
Yeah.
I got told right away by the powers that be, that's not your job. You're a councilman. You just make laws. You don't need to go see anybody. You don't need to go help anybody. You just make laws. Tell them to call DPW. Tell them to call the parish president. Tell them. I said, I don't think you know me very well.
Yeah.
I said, it don't matter whether I'm the dog catcher, the councilman, the parish president, a state representative. I'm going to go way above what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
Because that's how I was raised,
Very good.
you know. And
Yeah. Yeah,
and
that's
so-
right.
Anyway, it's a portion of our life now.
Yeah, yeah.
and at least for 3 more years, and then we'll see where we're going there. And
We have to ask Jerry Denton.
I
That was great.
I gotta ask
Yes, you
God,
will.
and if Jerry shows back up, I'm like, well, I got to do it, whatever it would be.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Well, Scooter, where can folks find your physical locations to take advantage of everything that we talked about? We already talked about Walker. We talked about right here on Railroad, is it?
Yeah, the
Railroad
railroad.
Avenue.
That's where
yeah,
the plant is.
397.
397 East Railroad, downtown Denham. If you're coming north on Hummel, as soon as you cross the tracks, look to the right, and you can't miss that big red brick building.
Yeah. And of course, Watson. You have that
Watson.
location.
Watson and Walker, and then now Diversion. So
Down
we will
Diversion,
have a
the
sign
big one.
on in the next few weeks. Danny's going to make me a sign to go over the laundromat
Yeah.
sign.
Okay, good.
That'll say quick and handy dry cleaners and laundry, and that'll be
and
that.
get on your app if you
Walker.
want us to pick up. We can
Yeah.
do
Big
that.
thing. I'm going to download that
Look,
app as
the
soon
best
as
thing.
we're done.
This lady will be over there sewing, and her phone will go. Bzz. She goes, "Ooh, pickup alert!" And I said, "Is it a new one?" Yep. I said, "All right, it's working." But
Much more exciting than those drainage meetings, right?
Yeah, much more.
But this has been like what 3 years
It
that
was
she's
a
been
while,
offering
yeah.
this, and it's just now. What we've heard from other dry cleaners, there's no amount of advertising that gets you dry cleaning business.
Right.
And I'm like, something's got to work. Well, we've tried
Podcasting is the
everything.
only thing I would
That's
recommend.
it. So we'll see.
I was
So
hoping
now
that's where
because
you would
of-
get from that.
That's right.
So now it's all on you.
It's all
Jim.
on me.
It's
I
all
Well, I
got the
figured I'd
pressure
help
on.
you a little bit too, 'cause
Yeah.
we all in business.
We
You know,
all in business. We all in business. And you are the Jeffersons of Livingston Parish.
We are,
Yes, you
and
can
we
call-
were moving on up because when we went into the dry cleaning business, we were in a 700 square foot frame house in Satsuma, right by the dump.
Yeah.
It's still there. It belongs to my sister, but she didn't move on up with the rest of us. But I'm playing. She's in the nursing home. She had a stroke, but that's a whole different story. But it's a far cry from what we came up.
Yeah.
I mean,
Where we started.
Well, it's a sign of hard work, and it's a sign of dedication and your passion for what you do.
Tell you,
And
when
we
I
all
go in that
appreciate
building every day from what we were in on Centerville Street,
It's a
yes, it's
blessing.
much more expensive to run that kind of place than that old no air conditioning in the old shop.
Yeah.
But you walk in and you go,
You put
Proud
something
of
to be
it.
proud of.
and you go over there and you hit the
absolutely.
little thing and the heater comes on.
Yeah.
'cause
Oh, look at that. Warm air.
yeah, warm air. But it's a great thing.
Very
so,
blessed.
yes.
Fantastic.
Oh,
yes.
absolutely blessed is the way to do it. Yes.
Absolutely. Now, you have a Facebook page, and it's pretty interesting. Got some neat little stuff on there. I was scrolling through it yesterday, so please go give a like to Quick and Handy Cleaners on Facebook. You can just search Quick and Handy Cleaners; it'll pop up.
It would have a lot more if she'll go, oh my God, you're going to go restore that dress. And I said, yes, I am. She goes, take a before and after picture. I always get the after one.
Yeah. I
I'm
do
like,
that with
I'm
stuff.
too busy working.
Yeah, I didn't think about that before.
And I'll go, oh my goodness, that was perfect to showcase what we do.
It is.
And
I knew about the buttons because somebody put it on Facebook.
Christening gowns.
Yeah.
Over time, we'll bring, some of them will come in at 70, 80 years old.
Yeah.
And they'll be yellow.
Yeah. Sure.
And they'll be sitting up 20, 30 years in between children or grandchildren. And I take that thing and do it all by hand. And when it comes out and you look at it and you go, she'll go, oh my God, my girls in the front, Bridget and Natalie will go, is that the same dress? Yeah. Although they had a white coat that came from Diversion this past week, and Natalie went, it was white? Yes, ma'am, it was. I didn't do that coat. My dry cleaner did that coat.
You better give a shout out to your dry cleaner. Real quick, Tanya.
Tanya
Clark.
Hookfin Clark. Her and people from her family have worked for Quick and Handy for generations. Her mom still works for us. And these
She
people
cares
come
as
to
much
work
as
for
we
us.
do, you know?
I passed by Martha. Martha got to be in her 60s. I passed by Martha the other day. I said, Martha, I love you. She said, oh, I love you too. And it's true. Me and Tanya, she calls me her brother.
Yeah.
Because we were raised in Quick and Handy. Because when her mama would come, she was a little girl.
Yeah.
And I was a maybe teenager, And so my mom taught her mom how to do things exactly the right way, the way you should do it.
Yeah.
And she passed it on to her daughter, who is now my dry cleaning manager. She runs the back. I mean, she's it.
Fantastic.
And these people, we got a lot of good people back there, and they all work, and they work.
Absolutely.
They came back to work during this COVID after we had shut down. We wasn't needing people maybe a couple hours a day, 2 or 3 days a week. And they said, can we just come back to work regular? I said, well, I can't pay you. It doesn't matter.
Wow.
We want to be here.
That's awesome.
They said, if this ship sinks, where are we going to go?
Yeah. Wow, man.
We cry and we cry a lot, but and that's why we're still here, because I don't think without everybody pitching in, we would be here.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
We would have had to shut down. And
well, I thank God you're still here.
Hopefully, we're just a few months, all of us, from climbing over the top of that hill, and then we can get a little smooth sailing. And if the gas prices, I paid $3.05 yesterday.
Okay.
We don't want.
Anyhow, so that's where we are.
Perfect.
We work together every day.
Yep.
I love it. And look, that's a testament to people that just love each other, because you work around each other 24/7, and you're still alive.
Yeah, we don't.
You hadn't killed him yet.
No,
so
not yet.
You're probably
today's
not gonna.
Still young.
Yeah. Yeah.
I ain't riding with you.
I do want to thank both of you for coming on the show. I'm a longtime customer, and I vouch for everything y'all said today. I'm very proud to have y'all as my
we care about the clothes.
Well, thank you. Well, we
really
appreciate you.
Thank you
Jim.
very much.
Thank you, Jim.
If any listeners have not had the pleasure of checking out Quick and Handy Cleaners, please do so. They are some awesome folks, and let's support them as much as we can. I do want to thank the little Tasmanian devil behind the scenes, Casey McMurray, for all she does.
Thank you, Casey.
Yes, for her role as executive producer of Local Leaders, the podcast. She's invaluable to my success. I want to thank everyone out there for viewing and listening. We're now up to 5,000 local subscribers on YouTube, and our average episode views have jumped to over 6,000 local people. Please continue to like, comment, subscribe, and share Local Leaders, the podcast, on social media. Thank you to all my sponsors, including Premier Credit, Trisha Johnston Realtor, Big Mike, Sports Bar and Grill, William Waldrop of TWFG Insurance, Sporting Center, Black Sheep Creative, SR Enterprise Painting, Elisa Verrett Interiors and Custom Workroom, Guyot's Plumbing, Tiffany Seacard of Homekey Mortgage, and Buddy's Barbecue of Denham Springs. Until next time, I am Jim Chapman, reminding you to love your community, support local business, and keep leading. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now is the time, more than ever, to support local business. Elisa Verrett Interiors and Custom Workroom is working hard to use made in the USA products for all their clients' window coverings. Schedule your appointment today for a consultation on Roman shades, drapes, shutters, outdoor sunshades, and even woven woods. Need a virtual appointment? No problem. Call Elisa at area code 225-955-1135. Elisa Verrett Interiors and Custom Workroom, a proud sponsor of Local Leaders, the podcast.